Hey everybody, this is Matt.
And this is Greg, and this is Record Mashup. Before we start the episode, just make sure to check us out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or any other podcast service that you may use. This week, Matt, what do we have for this?
Greg, I'm real excited for this episode. We've got a special guest with us. Our friend Kyle is with us today to talk about the NFL. We've got the NFL kicking off this week, and we're doing an NFL football-themed episode. So, Kyle, it's good to have you with us today.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on the episode today.
Awesome. So Greg, and Kyle, the song that I picked out for us this week is "The Champion" by Carrie Underwood, which features Ludacris. And Greg, what do you got? What'd you pick out?
I picked out Black and Yellow from Wiz Khalifa because I am a Steelers fan and love them so much. So figure I'd pick a song pretty much dedicated to them and the city of Pittsburgh.
Awesome. Well, you want to jump in and talk about yours first, and we'll get things going.
Yeah, so first starting off with the song Black and Yellow, Pittsburgh is actually the only city that has all of their sports teams associated with the same color for all of their teams. No other
professional sports teams
in the United States. So, props to them. So starting off with Black and Yellow, it really started off with Anthem for Pittsburgh. It's by Wiz Khalifa from his third studio album. I think it was probably one of his bigger songs they had come out with at that time. You know, he's done a lot of big things, but he's also a Pittsburgh native, so it was very fitting for him to pick that song. But jumping into the lyrics really quick. So he starts it off pretty generic, just talking about black and yellow. So if you haven't seen the music video, he's referring to his sports car that he has in there. Really nice looking car. It's painted all black and yellow, and also referring to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for the sports teams there, and just bringing awareness and love to his city, basically. And then going into – sorry, what
Greg,
was that, Matt?
Yeah, did you see where the reason all the teams in Pittsburgh, their colors are black and yellow is because the city actually has an official flag, and their official flag's colors are black and yellow, and that actually predated any of the professional teams that were in the city. And so when all the professional teams came to Pittsburgh, they adopted those colors as their team colors.
Yeah,
I just thought that was kind of an interesting little tidbit of history there.
Yeah. And I'd just like to point out, I'm a Steelers fan, not a Pittsburgh sports fan. I'm still a Tigers fan and a Red Wings fan and a Pistons fan. I'm from Michigan, but the Lions,
yeah.
They are not cutting it. Barry Sanders left. I was like, it's time to bounce.
I'm actually not a big NFL fan myself, but I have been to a number of Pirates games there in Pittsburgh, which is one of my favorite baseball stadiums, especially if you sit along the third base line. You just get this wonderful view of the city line.
Yeah, you're more of a college sports fan, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
What about you, Kyle? What teams do you support?
Yeah, I'm really big into all the sports, but obviously football, playing that my entire life from high school and college. I really love the sport. It's really, just in Pennsylvania, it's a very big sport across the state. For the NFL, Eagles, and then for college, like Notre Dame. And that's interesting about Notre Dame. It's just kind of a national following. It doesn't really matter where you live or where you're from. You find them all across the country. It's kind of like the Cowboys in a way.
Yeah, that's really cool. And you said you played college football, right?
Yep. Division III football at Dickinson College.
Very cool.
Nice.
So we've got some, Greg, I think we got a little more expertise on the sport here certainly more than I, at least.
Yeah, the Virginia Cavaliers need some help this year, I'm pretty sure. So,
hey, we're ranked top 24, man, in the preseason poll.
Are they? Oh, that's high for them.
We're rising. So.
We'll see how long that lasts.
But getting back into it for the Black and Yellow song, chorus starts off, they talk about doing everything big, pulling off a lot. He's stunned with his car and everything. It's all black and yellow. So really focusing on that black and yellow for making everything look good and everything. And then getting into the song, it's not it's not super into the NFL, so I'm going to kind of gloss over that for this week for lyric wise, but it's just talking about doing things big, having the right car, having the right girls and everything. So he's talking about having a suede inside to his car. Sounds pretty nice.
Yeah.
Probably pretty warm in there with some suede inside, but
I say that would not be a good car to be driving around in the summer.
probably not.
Yeah.
But he probably has the windows down and everything, so it's probably got some nice airflow in there, and it's probably not really just for cruising, because if he's got an engine like he's saying he is, that gas mileage is not good.
No.
So yeah, he's got to have something paying for that. So first verse just kind of goes into that, having the car going, and then just making millions and adding everything to his schedule. So that's good for him.
And this was early in his career, wasn't it? This song?
It's his third studio album. So while early in his career, he still had a couple of singles before that and some mixtapes and stuff. So he's got some experience behind him, but he is just coming up in the rap game at that point.
It was still kind of on his rise to fame. Yeah.
Yep.
It was like his first big hit for the most part.
Yeah, I think I saw it was his first number one.
His first number one, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a couple of singles before that, but I would really say that's what put him on the map. Was
Takes me back to freshman year in college. Feels like years ago, but it wasn't that far ago.
No, not at all. 2010.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Kyle, when I was listening to it. I remember hearing this song at like all the freshman, frat parties we'd go to.
Yeah. It's just in your mind over and over again.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Greg. We keep interrupting.
No, it's fine. It's great. It's a lot of good conversation. Getting back into it for the second verse, he's talking about call his jeweler to get some new jewelry and stuff, some like chains or what rings, whatever it may be.
There was a line here, and I tried looking it up, and the definition I found I shouldn't say a line, a word. The definition I looked up didn't make much sense to me. What is Clico? I'm sipping Clico. It sounds like a drink.
Yeah, pretty sure that's what it is. If I'm not, it's a champagne.
Okay, all right, that makes more sense, because what I found was not a drink by any means. So I wasn't really sure.
I'm not sure what you found.
Yeah,
but
it was not. Let's just say it was. I know we're rated explicit on our podcast, but let's not go there.
It's a champagne. But he's rocking yellow diamonds, which are expensive diamonds. He's got the champagne. Most people associate champagne with class and things like that. So he's going more upper class, spending more on his drinks and stuff like that. And from there, he gets into the chorus again, going back to that black and yellow.
And can I add one bit on that?
What was that?
Just with me, I think the one that stood out to me was just the rep in my town line. I know you talked about that a little bit, but just in life in general, you grow up somewhere for most of your life and then you move somewhere else or wherever you go in your career. I think you always want to make sure you try to bring that little piece from a hometown where you anywhere you go.
Absolutely.
It kind of shows that a little bit in this song, but just looking at, what football is like and what my hometown's like, being from Pennsylvania, a very hardworking, blue collar type town. And, that's why football resonates in the state. It's kind of this lunch pail, get your hands dirty type sport. And I think that's why you see Philadelphia and Pittsburgh both kind of resonates in both those cities.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Kyle. Thank you.
Yeah, that makes good sense. I think that's probably true in most states too. I mean, I think about Texas comes to mind. I've lived my entire life in Virginia, and I think in some sense that's the case, although Virginia is not as much of a blue collar state as it used to be. But there certainly are still pockets within the state where that's the case. But yeah, there's definitely always that desire to want to associate yourself with your hometown, regardless of where you end up in life, wherever you end up living.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really great point, Kyle.
Yeah.
And I liked the line too in the chorus where he says, everything I do it big. This idea of whatever you're going to put your heart and soul into, like, go all in on it, right? I mean, you don't know what's going to happen if you don't give it your full effort. And this kind of takes me back, Greg, to our, I think it was our second or third episode where we were talking about trains and, the Midnight Train to Georgia song where it's, it just makes me think of the guy that, didn't, or gal, I think it was a guy in the song that, didn't make it in California for whatever reason, in Hollywood. But just kind of makes me reminisce back to that. But yeah, just, this idea of put your heart and soul into it, because you never know what's going to happen.
If you're up to bat, you're swinging for the fences, man.
Yeah.
I think that's
been
been
a big or go home
theme in some of our podcasts with the trains episode, the last episode that we just did.
Yeah.
With, school. Now this one. We're picking some quality songs to motivate people, Get those nice motivational speeches to throw out on Instagram and quote ourselves.
Maybe that's what we are. We're a motivational music podcast. I don't know. Maybe we're evolving. Anyway.
Yeah. So the last verse is pretty similar to the last few verses. Just like talking about his car being unapproachable, super clean, but super mean. So it's got a lot of power to it, but it looks very nice type deal. Being fly, taking trips, just pretty much talk about the whole theme's about his car, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then just talking about black and yellow, and then the music video for it really ties it back into being about Pittsburgh with all the Pittsburgh memorabilia and everything. And that kind of gets me to the fact about the song. So Lil Wayne did a cover of it called Green and Yellow when Pittsburgh and the Packers had to go to the Super Bowl. And this is actually the first time for a Super Bowl that both teams use the same song. So lyrically, they're not the same song, but like use the same bass song for both of the teams, which I thought was pretty fun. Unfortunately, the Steelers lost, but Pittsburgh did pretty good that game. So I'll give the props to them.
Yeah, and another interesting thing I saw, if anyone keeps track of chart-topping songs in their spare time, but this was the 7th song to hit number 1 that contains the word black in it, which I thought was just kind of an interesting tidbit. And it's the 3rd song to hit number 1 that features the word yellow. So your random fact of the day.
So that's the kind of facts I love. Useless facts that you can do absolutely nothing with.
Yes.
But you're just like, hey, I got a fact.
Yeah.
I love those. I'm full.
Kyle, do you have a random fact for this song?
I think Greg took mine, so
okay.
I'll have one for the next one. You might have it, but we'll see when we get there.
We'll give it to you. We'll let you run with it.
Just also like to point out that the Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Big Ben is back. We'll see how. Hopefully he's healthy, but we'll see.
He'll play through almost anything.
He only has a few more years left, but I think he still has a couple more years.
Yeah,
he has really a great career
regardless.
He's gone
of what through a lot of transition periods in the past couple.
A lot of different players.
Running
backs, still done well.
Defensive players, offensive
new
players.
Receivers, especially after losing Brown and everything. So
yeah, it's been a wild ride in the past couple of years.
I'll be honest. I haven't paid much attention to NFL. As I said, I'm not a huge NFL fan, but are they doing a bubble or like what's their plans for this year?
It'll be like baseball. They're going to play in empty stadiums for the most part. Some stadiums might allow 15 to 20%. Mm-hmm. I know, like for example, the Eagles aren't letting anybody this year.
Yeah,
so it's going to be like baseball.
It's up to the teams to allow people to go in, but most teams are not allowing anyone. I know the Steelers aren't, the Jets aren't, and the Giants aren't because I looked at those to actually go to those games, and they're not allowing anyone into their stadiums.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. College football is hit or miss. With UVA at Charlottesville, I know they're doing it's limited to 1,000 people only in the stadium, which basically is like family members of the players, essentially. So, it's certainly an interesting time we live in, but at least we'll have TV to watch sports. So
yeah.
So.
But that was all I had for Black and Yellow. No one had anything else. Matt, do you want to jump into your song?
Yeah, let's do it. So, as I said, I picked the song "The Champion" by Carrie Underwood, which features Ludacris. And this was a song that was released on January 12th, 2018. It was also later released as a bonus track off her sixth studio album, Cry Pretty, but it was primarily released specifically for Super Bowl 52, which was in 2018, obviously. And it was such a kind of an athletic, generic song that they also used it for the 2018 Winter Olympics, which I thought was pretty neat. But one of the things that's pretty cool about this song is that Carrie Underwood helped write the song along with three other gentlemen, Christopher Bridge, Chris DeStefano, sorry, and Brett James. But in writing the song, they actually, for inspiration, listened to a lot of, the great sports speeches of time, locker room type speeches. Coach Valvano, if you've ever seen his speech from, was that the ESPYs, I believe it was. Really, yeah, super inspirational speech. If you have never watched that, you should go watch it. But that's kind of where they drew their inspiration from in writing this song, which I thought was pretty cool. But jumping into the song itself, it's a really upbeat, optimistic song that really serves as a motivational song for not just athletes, but just everyday individuals. The first verse jumps in and she says, I'm not going to be the last one standing. Everyone's going to be watching me. And she says this line in there, I live for the battle. I'm a soldier, which I love that line. I think that's so good. And she's got references to Rocky, Muhammad Ali, and she's saying, I've paid my dues, I can't lose. So it's this idea of getting in there and fighting. And it's kind of jumping ahead a little bit here. But, we think about these two songs together. It's both of these songs have this idea of whatever we do, we're going all in. We're not going to let up, and we're going to give it everything we got. And I just think that's such a great motivational way of thinking about these.
And the music video, I'm not sure if you watched it at all, but it's pretty flashy where it jumps in between different images and little short clips and everything, but it goes with exactly what she's singing. So the I'm a soldier part goes to someone in the military, and then the I'm a fire part just shows some lady boxing and shows a picture of Ali. So just kind of jumping around with that, using visual representation with everything that she's saying. So it's pretty good artistically for that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I did watch the music video, and I love that they tied these other occupations into it, right? So you mentioned a few, but they also even include things like teachers in the music video.
Yep.
Civil rights leaders, first responders. I mean, these are all people that, the song's called The Champion, right?
Yeah.
These are everyday champions.
The very beginning of the video started off with a picture of MLK, so
yeah,
it goes right into that.
And just to tie into the whole aspect about being a fighter and tying it to all aspects of life, I mean, just look at football. It's a sport where you get one play and you got to be ready for the next play. And the song talks a lot about adversity and overcoming challenges. If you have one bad play, you got to be able to forget about it and get on to the next one. And that's a big part of, I guess, anything in life. You got to roll with the punches. Sometimes it's not about if you can give the punch, but how many punches you can take and keep moving forward. Yeah. Just like you mentioned with Rocky in the show.
2nd and 10 going to 3rd and 25 is not very fun.
No, not at all. 3rd and long.
Sorry to our viewers who are not football savvy and don't understand what we're talking about at some points. But you should get into football then.
Well, that'd be like I don't know, like striking a batter out, and then the next guy comes up and hits a grand slam or something.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
there's so many analogies in sports that, but this idea of if you get knocked down, getting back up and keep fighting.
All right. Thanks, Hanson.
I think that's actually a line in here. Yeah, it's in the chorus. Yeah, if you get so I can't say that that's original, but but yeah, so jumping into the chorus, I love these lines she jumps out here with, invincible, unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable. All these, adjectives that just describe a champion, someone that's constantly fighting and willing themselves forward. And then we get, there's the second verse there, which is kind of just echoing a lot of the similar themes. But then we get to the part with Ludacris. And I just thought this was really well done and very artistic. It actually, in many ways, reminded me of like poetry. And I know that like a lot of music in general, especially lyrically, and rap music is poetry. But, if you remember like growing up in like elementary school and stuff, you'd see like those poems where like you'd have a word, and, like there'd be like something with each letter. So that's basically what he does here in his part of the song. He basically spells out champion and associates a word with each letter of the word. So like C is for champion, H is for hurt and honor, A is for attitude, M for motivation, P is for perseverance, I is for integrity and innovation, O is for optimism, and N is for never giving up, right? And so this idea that he's really kind of defining what a champion is in this artistic, poetic way, I think was really, really cool. And then we get into kind of what I call like the outro of the song, and it's all about who wants it the most and fight for what we believe in. So just more images of this, constantly fighting and pushing yourself and willing yourself forward athletically or whatever it is you do in life. So really great song. It's really upbeat too. It's really catchy.
Yeah, and Carrie Underwood made the song specifically for champions, for like the Super Bowl, things like that, but she made the lyrics generic enough that people can apply them in everyday life, so that even if you're not like a top athlete or something like that, you can still use that to like push yourself, which is basically the chorus of the invincible, unbreakable, unstoppable, unshakable part.
Yeah. I was even thinking about this, like what other ways could this song be applied in life? I mean, certainly business, right? Could be, you can get knocked down in business and you want to get back up. A medical diagnosis, someone that gets diagnosed with something that, cancer or some other rare disease or something, just this idea of you want to keep pushing forward, and you're going to beat it, and I think that motivation is articulated incredibly well in this song.
Absolutely.
So, aside from that, I mean, the song was moderately successful. It hit number 47 on the Billboard Hot 100. The music video, which we referenced earlier, also won the CMT Female Video of the Year in 2018, which is a pretty big award within country music. So that was pretty cool. And aside from that, got a couple little cool facts about the song, but I don't want to steal Kyle's facts. So Kyle,
well, you already stole my fact technically.
No.
Well, I think the big thing I wanted to link was that there both was a Super Bowl aspect to each song, which you kind of mentioned. I will add that Super Bowl 52 was the year the Eagles won their first Super Bowl and they beat Tom Brady, so that's pretty cool, at least. Fly Eagles fly.
Anyone beating Tom Brady is a good team.
Yep, he threw for 500 yards. They still won though.
That's was Chris Long on the team that year?
He was. He won back-to-back years, Patriots and Eagles. So
yeah,
he had a good deal.
Yeah, he went to UVA and he he still lives in Charlottesville too.
Yeah, he's done a lot for the town.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. But so one of the things that I found that I thought was pretty cool. So when Carrie Underwood recorded this song, so she's married to Mike Fisher, who I believe he's retired now, but so he was playing for the Nashville Predators in the National Hockey League. I'm pretty sure he's retired now. Maybe you
Yeah,
guys.
he's retired.
2017.
Okay. Yeah, so he was playing for the Predators at the time, and apparently she let him listen to the song early before it was released, and he loved it so much that he wanted to, like, he would, I guess, in his iPod or whatever music device he had, he would listen to the song before every game to kind of get himself hyped, and he kept saying, like, I want to play this, like, in the locker room for all the my teammates and stuff, but Carrie, like, would not let him because it wasn't released, and it was supposed to be released for the Super Bowl, which I thought was kind of cool, but kind of
She
showed
had a lot of faith in her husband to not play that loud.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, what are you listening to? Can't tell you.
Yeah.
Can't tell you. Top secret.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was kind of a cool little story. But yeah, that's really all I got about the song. I really like this song.
I think both are pretty good anthems for an NFL team, a Super Bowl. I think that the Champion is a little more generic and can just be used as like, hey, this is a really good song to play at any sporting event, just to keep the crowd engaged and stuff. Whereas Black and Yellow is more like, if it's a Pittsburgh team, you can play it, but like outside of that, it doesn't really mesh. Especially anymore, since like the hype of the song is gone, it's not like it first came out just now. Came out years ago.
Yeah, I mean, the Champion kind of reminds me of, it's like growing up, if I watch, Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football, there's always that song on in the beginning where they play. They're kind of really tied to either team, but it's just about football and the sport. That kind of brought me back to memories, just, being younger, I'd be a little kid and I would sit right in front of the TV and I would lay out all my football jerseys on the couch and that I had when the Eagles would play. So it kind of brought me back to that memory, just kind of watching Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football.
Yeah. Kyle, when you were playing in college, did you guys, like in the locker room before a game or anything, did you guys like have music playing and like to get hyped up before a big game or anything?
Yeah, for college, we had a ritual. We had like a ritual to actually listen to like Phil Collins In the Air Tonight. And we kind of like right before we go out of the locker room, we would do that drum roll real quick. And then that's when we'd go out. So it was it's kind of hard to describe, but we did have a kind of ritual.
That was like the opposite of my high school football. Listen to like Little John and things like that. Like gangster rap and stuff.
Yeah, we listened to that more in high school than college. College, I think people listened to more of like country music, depending on what areas that you lived and the people that you were with.
Yeah. I think it depends on like where you're from, right? And,
yeah.
And every school has their own traditions and rituals that they do. Like I know Virginia Tech, they always come out to Inner Sandman by Metallica, and
it's a good song to come out to.
So, but yeah, no, I think as you said, they're both really great. They songs that kind of reminisce about football, and I think as we previously mentioned, I really think that they're great motivational songs if you pick out bits and pieces of them.
Absolutely. So I didn't have anything to add for both of the songs. Did you guys have anything additional?
That's all I got.
No, I like them. I mean, as I said, they're they're good songs. I don't know that I'd actually ever, even though I picked the song, I don't think I'd ever actually heard the song "The Champion" before, which is a first for me to pick a song that I've never heard of before.
Yeah, I had to listen to it first to kind of get an idea, but when I heard it, then I kind of knew. But at first glance, I didn't recognize it.
Yeah, I came across it by searching for football songs. So, anyway, well, Kyle, we appreciated having you on this week with us.
Thanks, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Kyle.
Anytime.
Greg, what do we have lined up next week?
Well, next week, I think we're going to talk about rain. So I was going to talk to you about I Wish It Would Rain by the Temptations. Matt, what do you have?
I'm gonna pick Purple Rain by Prince, which
Oh,
I think will be
nice.
fun.
Yeah, that'll be a good comparison. Prince
Yeah.
is always fun to listen to.
Absolutely. And the Temptations are great as well. So
Yeah,
it'll
cool.
be a fun
Love me
week.
some Motown music.
Awesome. Well, Kyle, again, thank you so much. And for all our listeners, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also follow us on social media sites. We've got a Facebook page, a Twitter, and Instagram. You can also find us on YouTube for the full uncut version, unedited version of the podcast, if that's something that would be of interest to you. And with that, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone, for watching or listening.
Have a good week. Bye.